Count controversy. The Michigan Board of Canvassers will examine the mess that is the Detroit Mayoral Primary. At the same time, fingers are being pointed between the city and county clerks. So who screwed the counting up in the certification of this election?
Well, the same two candidates are facing off in the November election, Mike Duggan and Benny Napoleon. But 18,000 write-in ballots are at the center of the mess here. 7 Action News reporter Jim Kurtzner live downtown digging for answers into what went wrong here. Jim, what have you found?
Joanne and Jeff, this comes down to two things. What happened at the last minute with the Wayne County Board of Canvassers yesterday when they were set to certify the Detroit mayoral election, and what caused them not to do this? Now, let me show you. This was given to me by a source. This is the procedural documentation given to poll workers and precinct workers, how to tally write-in candidates. Now, everybody knew this was going to be a monumental election. Here's how it's supposed to work. Here might be all the different name variations. They're supposed to count those votes, those write-in votes, and make these sort of hash marks with that tally, and then come over here and write the final number. City poll workers did not do this in many cases. That's why there were 18,000 votes in question. But this has been finger pointing in both directions. Earlier today, the city clerk, Janice Winfrey, said because her poll workers did not do this, this does not break the law, and she fired back at the county clerk who had called for the city clerk's resignation.
This should not be about me and my work, but rather the work of the Wayne County and their Board of Canvassers. As far as I'm concerned, our work was done August 6th.
Now, State Elections Director Chris Thomas earlier today did a telephone news conference with media from all over the state. This is getting a lot of attention. Bottom line is, he says the State Board of Canvassers have now taken this over. They will be in town to examine this. They will actually look, if necessary, at the 18,000 write-in ballots to see if those are in question. He says 18,000 is a huge number. Those voters should not be disenfranchised, but he also doesn't necessarily fault the Wayne County Board of Canvassers. Here's what he had to say.
So I don't fault Wayne County for questioning that. On the other hand, you know, I don't see this as a major election failure.
As I said, County Clerk Kathy Garrett called a news conference for very late this afternoon. Here's what she had to say about this mess.
At this time, I feel to assure everybody that this was a fair election. I welcome the state to review all 614 precincts for all the write-in candidates so that no one voter is invalidated.
Now, that is the one point everybody agrees on. All of the valid votes should count. Nobody's vote should be disenfranchised or the people behind that vote. We're going to have much more on this, including what might have gone on behind the scenes, causing this to be a last-minute fiasco with the Wayne County Board of Canvassers who took it up yesterday. We'll have all of that for you next hour at 6. Jeff, Joanne?
Jim, before you go, real quick, I know Chris Thomas made it clear today, the Michigan Elections Director, that this is a retabulation and not a recount, correct?
That's exactly right. A recount happens only after the election is certified. Then a candidate can call for a recount. It's a play on words, but that is the formal process. He also cautioned, this is not an investigation. The State Board of Canvassers assumed this when the county board did not certify by the deadline, which is yesterday afternoon. He says they'll be here in town in Detroit early next week, and he expects that process to be done within only a couple of days.
It's a mess no matter how you look at it, Jim. Thank you very much for the live report tonight.